Hello, Marchers. I'm Jenny Lichter, president of the March for Life, and I am so excited to be here with Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma, a steadfast and passionate friend of the pro-life movement for a long time. We're going to talk a little bit about pro-life advocacy, about why you all should feel really encouraged to come and talk to your representatives when you're here in Washington for the March for Life in January. Senator Lankford loves meeting with his constituents, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But the first thing I'd like to ask you, Senator, is why are you pro-life?
I'm pro-life because I believe in the value of every single person. I'm personally a follower of Jesus, and for me, I have a biblical worldview. That's a key issue for me. I see people as created in the image of God. Every person has value and worth, and it doesn't matter how young or how old they are. Every person has value and worth. And so for me, that's the beginning point for me. And then the second issue for me is I actually follow the science. When I look at that child in the womb that's developing, every single cell in a woman's body has the exact same DNA, except for those cells. Those cells have different DNA. And so I asked the simple science question, is that the same person or is that a different person? Science would tell me that's a different person that's there, that's actually growing and developing. The only difference between me now and me in the womb is time. That's it. And so in time and a few cheeseburgers. But so that for me, just growing and eating and aging, that's the difference on it. So that child in the womb is a person. Science would say that. My faith would also say that. But quite frankly, common sense would say that as well.
Amen to all of that. And that's what brings all of us in the pro-life movement together. We all share those views and all try and make those arguments effectively from a faith perspective, from a science perspective, from a common sense perspective. So let's talk a little bit about constituent meetings.
Okay.
Tens of thousands of people are about to descend on Washington as they do every year and have for over 50 years for the March for Life. It's an incredible show of force and unity and persistence and commitment by the pro-life movement. We love to see people who are coming in town for the march come and visit their elected representatives here in Washington, but sometimes that can feel a little bit uncomfortable or intimidating, especially for people who maybe are coming from far out of town, maybe have never even been to Washington before or met with a United States senator. So do you want to tell our marchers a little bit about why is it helpful to you as a legislator to hear from constituents? Why do you enjoy constituent meetings? I think you do. I'm making a little bit of assumption there. What do you love about constituent meetings, and why should people be empowered to come and talk to you?
So I'd say a couple things. I love it when the marchers actually come by. We get a chance to be able to visit. Several years we've actually had hot chocolate in our place because, go figure, it's cold in January. So we love getting a chance to be able to greet folks and to be able to say thank you for coming and for marching. But not everybody that comes, their senator, their representative, is excited about the issue of life. There's obviously not common agreement across the country. That's why we march, is because we're working towards that. So I would encourage anyone that's coming into town to march to come and march with joy, sing, pray, be a part of it, but then go visit with legislators. Sometimes the legislator won't meet with you and they'll say, meet with our staff. Great, do that. Because it's one thing to march, it's another thing to talk to people and say, here's why we march. Because in some offices, they don't agree with the march, but they may not even know why. They just have said, okay, they think differently than me, but they haven't got a chance to meet you. There's this old saying, it's hard to hate up close. When you get a chance to talk to somebody that may disagree with you on this issue, when they get a chance to meet you, see you're a real person, that you're thoughtful as well, that makes a difference for people. It's also encouraging for people that may be pro-life as a legislator to be able to meet people in their state and say, and when they hear someone say thank you for actually your values and for speaking, and just to be able to ask them, do you speak on the floor of the Senate or the House about these issues? What do you do? How do you advocate for life? And you can tell them, hey, I'm coming to march. I'm telling my friends back home that I came to this march because I want them to know about where I stand. How do you advocate for life as well? And that's a great question for a legislator or for a staff to be able to go through. Here's one thing I want to set you at ease on, because I talk to a lot of the students and folks that come to march and they'll say, well, when I go into the building, everybody's wearing suits and ties and they're all dressed up, and I'm in jeans and a heavy coat and a big heavy cat and their
March for Life beanie.
It is their beanie, and my hair's all crazy from all being covered up in a beanie that day. So, and they're like, I don't want to come into where there's like suits and ties. Yeah. It's okay. It's America. Yeah. I promise you'll be fine on that. Plus, they know that you've been outside all day and you've been freezing cold on it. So come inside, get a chance to be able to meet with them, and just talk. And you don't have to share everything. It's not like they're going to argue with you. They're not going to argue with you. They want to hear your story. They want to hear why you're pro-life. They want to hear why you came. You spent a lot of time traveling to be able to be here. Tell them why this is so important to you. That's a heart issue that they need to be able to hear, and then encourage them on how they're going to stand for life as well.
Thank you for that encouragement. Do you think it's fair to say that every member of Congress more or less shares that view that they like hearing from constituents, right? That's why everyone's here.
Yeah, everybody's here. I mean, you shouldn't be here if you don't like hearing from people back home. So I'm from Oklahoma. I love it when I get a chance to visit with Oklahomans, just to be able to hear their story, to be able to know where they're from, where their town, and then why do they think the way they think, because that helps me also get a context of what's happening at home.
Thank you. I appreciate the effective advocacy tips that you just sort of shared in the last few minutes, right? About come in with a story, talk about how this issue touches your heart, right? Talk about why you're here marching for life. Anything else you want to share about when someone comes in for their meeting and they're talking to you or your staff? How can they prepare to have a good meeting?
So they prepare, just think about who's going to talk first, who's going to talk second. If you've got 20 people in your group or you've got 5 people in your group, just figure out how you're going to do it as an order. If you've got 20, 25 people in your group, not everybody's going to be able to talk. But really kind of pick who the person's going to be that's going to be the primary person. Quickly introduce everybody in the group, especially if you're from different schools or different towns. Everybody kind of wants to get a context of where everyone's from, but do that as quick as you can, and then have one person or maybe 2 or 3 that'll quickly share their story, what brought them to the position of pro-life. You can talk about legislation if you know a specific piece of legislation, but really the issue is not a specific piece of legislation. It's your personal stand. It's why you think this is valuable. It's your encouragement to a legislator that is pro-life to be able to continue to speak out on that and be an advocate for them personally with their legislative work, or for somebody that maybe disagrees, just to be respectful, to be joyful, and to say, this is why I value this. And I just want to be able to say there are people that live in your state that may think differently than you. We respect you and your opinions on this, but also hear us out in what we believe as well. By the way, one other point on this too, if you only get to visit with a staff member, and I hear people say that, I didn't get to meet the elected official, I met with a staff member. I can't begin to tell you how important it is to be able to meet with the staff on the Hill. Those folks actually guide the schedule of the member of Congress, or they'll pull the memos together. So if you meet with staff, that's a really big deal as well. Tell them your story, tell them who you are, get a chance to meet them. If you get to learn their direct email address, write them an email afterwards and say, thank you for meeting with me. You're turning hearts when you're engaging with that. And I do know some members that their staff may disagree with them on an issue. And so sometimes you may meet in a member's office that member may not be pro-life, and you find out there is a staff member that quietly is. And you can be an encouragement to them as well. So meet with staff, meet with members, be respectful, be joyful, and just tell your story.
That's great. Thank you. I want to echo something you said, because it's a little different even than the way I often think about meeting with folks on the Hill. Of course, we want to come, and the marchers should come to get your views on record, right? Whether your member agrees with you or not. But I love the idea that we, the marchers, have an opportunity to bring encouragement to our pro-life fighters here in Congress who are fighting day in and day out, sometimes hard battles, right, in the media or behind closed doors to try and get good legislation across the finish line. And that can feel, I imagine, hard. It could feel discouraging. And so I love that point. I just want to commend it to all of our marchers that something you can do for your pro-life elected officials is thank them and encourage them and just bring them the joy and energy that you are going to be bursting with after spending your morning and your early afternoon on the Mall and marching with the crowd of pro-lifers.
Yeah, so you're freezing cold and energetic. Bring that warmth into the building on it, and get a chance just to be able to say, bless you for doing what's good. I can tell you, again, from a biblical perspective, part of the role is to be able to encourage those who are doing well and to call out those that we disagree with on it, but we do that respectfully.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for all of this fantastic input and encouragement to our marchers. Before we close, is there anything else that you'd like to share about the pro-life mission, your pro-life commitments, and why you do the work you do?
I would say just a couple of things. Thank you, number one, for actually spending the time, the money, the energy to be able to do this. There are a lot of folks back home that are also pro-life. They didn't sacrifice the same way you are to be able to be here. So well done to be able to be here. So thank you for doing that. Number two, think about creative new ways that you can actually work to persuade. I tell a lot of pro-life folks, I know there are certain statements that the pro-life leaders that agree with you like, but a lot of what our task is to be able to help people think about things in a new way. I speak often about the value of every single child, and I'll talk about how a child is a child is a child is a child, and that about the DNA issue that I talked about before, that every single cell in a woman's body has the exact same DNA except for those cells of that child. And it brings me to ask a question: when does life begin to a person? What makes that a life? part of what we're doing when we're talking to people that don't believe in the value of every single child, we really find that there are a lot of people that use the catchphrases, but they've never really thought about when does life begin. They've really never slowed down enough to think about it. Part of what we do is just in a kind way, encourage people to think about something they haven't thought about before. You're helping people take the next step in the journey towards being pro-life like you are. They're not in the position you are. Many people are not. They can get there one step at a time. So help people take that next step. Do that in a way that's joyful and persuasive. Don't try to belittle people. Just encourage, and then watch and see in the years ahead what happens for that person in their journey as well.
Amen. Perfect note to end on. Thank you, Senator Lankford, for everything you do in the legislature, for your great encouragement of our marchers, and for talking to me today.
Oh, thanks. Glad to do it.